Hey, it's Tesla Canuck. Welcome back to another video. There's been a lot of chatter on places like Twitter and other Tesla forums about the performance of FSD beta. And it seems that there's a number of very high level influencers that seem to be having a different experience than the average Tesla owner. They've been posting a lot of videos online that show, hey, I can drive 3 hours without an intervention. And no one I know in the Tesla community is having this experience. Now, I'm not saying that these high-level influencers aren't having the experience that they're having. I'm just wondering if maybe they are on a completely different build or something than we are. And what I want to do is I want to kind of go for a drive and just show you what the average Tesla owner is experiencing, and you can compare and contrast that with what else you're seeing on Twitter or YouTube. And my aim today is just to give you the facts, and it's going to be start rolling, and there's going to be no cuts, there's going to be no speeding up a video. And also I am going to just today use the most basic and easiest scenario for self-driving, full self-driving, which is on a closed access freeway. And we're going to see what happens in just a few minutes of a drive, and try to reconcile that perhaps with what we're also seeing on other YouTube videos from these high-level influencers. But anyhow, like I said, I'm not saying that they're not having that experience. I'm just saying that a lot of us are having a much different experience and a much worse experience. Let's be honest about it. So let's go for a drive and let's see what happens. I'm just pulled off at the side of the freeway. I just want to go over a little bit more context before we continue on with the video. I want to show you which software version I am on, and that is FSD beta 10.69.25. And yeah, that's going to lay the context here for the rest of the drive. Like I said, I don't know if other people have different versions of the software, but what we're going to do is I already have a navigation destination here, and once I get onto, I guess, the ramp out of this service station, I will engage the autopilot. In this case, it's navigate on autopilot. And I know some people are going to say, well, that's not, the FSD, blah, 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 merge code base coming soon, that kind of stuff. But that doesn't really matter in this context, because in this context, the navigate on autopilot is also supposed to be kind of like a set it and forget it. And also it's been demonstrated as being, flawless in other videos. So I think it's fair game to conduct this first test this way. I will do one in the city driving, and it's going to show you the same thing that this is going to show you, is that it is far from perfect. And unless people have a different build, I don't know how they're having quote unquote perfect drives. All right, so I'm going to put the seatbelt back on. I went outside of the car and I cleaned all of the cameras. So all of the cameras are nice and clean, and we're going to get started. And as I mentioned, this is going to be a uncut video. I'm not going to be speeding up any footage. I'm not going to be slowing down any footage. This is going to be as raw as it gets. Let's get started. It's probably not a use case for the full self-driving beta, but it wouldn't have a hope in hell of getting out of here. I can tell you that much. Okay, let's wait for our turn here, and then we will engage the Borg. All right, here we go. Kind of hard to mess this up, but again, going on to a closed access freeway, that is the easiest use case for full self-driving and automation. So let's see what happens. The other thing too, you'll notice that it's quite slow. That wasn't driving like a human. A lot of times too, you might see people having a drive where they don't have any disengagements, but they've probably pissed off everybody on the highway in order to achieve that. Okay, so let's see if it does this lane change, and it does. So far, so good. Okay, I'm gonna bump up the speed for it to be about 10% over the speed limit, which is typically what people will drive. Okay, we've had our first problem here. There's no one behind me, no one in front of me, and it just changed from 110 kilometers to 102. I don't know why. But it did hit the brakes pretty hard. So I'm going to confirm this lane change. Oh, there's a car beside me, so that's not going to work. But I don't really need to get out of this lane, but it's asking me to, so I will do that. Okay. So, oh, there we go again. So you see, it just slowed down to max 90. It just changes. Now it's back up to 110. I didn't touch a thing. So closed access freeway, this is one of the biggest problems with Autopilot, FSD, whatever you want to call it. Like right now, we've just slowed down for no reason. I have no idea why we're going 95 when we're set for 110. There's nothing in front of me. Person behind me is getting a little bit frustrated with this driving. So, okay. So now we're going to, looks like, come back up to speed. But back to what I was saying. So look, there we go again. It just slammed on the brakes. This is not what I would call flawless at all. Okay, so let's see why it wants to go. It doesn't need to go into this next lane. This next lane does not end or anything like that. But it seems to be my experience that it always wants to go into the far right lane, whether the far right lane is ending or not. It just seems to want to be there. And sometimes that's a problem because, and I'm going to show you this in the next segment. This is my commute, so I do this every day. So we're going to go down, and I'm going to turn around and come back and start going north again. So this would be my way into work, and we head north is going to be my way back home. So I'm quite familiar with the area, and basically on this portion of the drive, the navigate on autopilot is absolutely useless. Okay, so I'm going to confirm this lane change. So it did the right thing there. I'm going to confirm this lane change again. And don't get me wrong, it does do many things right. There's no question about that. But some of the things that it does makes no sense and is arguably quite dangerous. Like all of a sudden, the speed limit changing from 100 kilometers an hour to 90 kilometers an hour, which it does not, right? I don't know. To me, that says that it's using a database. It's not using vision. It's not looking at the actual posted speed limit signs. I don't know where it's getting its data from. But on a fixed access freeway or a closed access freeway like this, the speed limit doesn't just change. So what I'm going to do is well, let's see, I'll take this a little bit further, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it off of autopilot, and I'm going to turn around and head north and show you another, you can set your watch to it problem, which is very, very bizarre. heading north. So I'm going to disengage here because I don't actually want to go to the movie theater, even though I still haven't seen Avatar. I don't know. If you've seen Avatar, let me know in the comments. You know, is that something I should be doing? Okay. So we are going to actually take this lane here. Actually, I changed my mind. I'm going to take this lane. And we're just going to turn around. So I'm gonna do a cut in the video here because we're not actually testing anything, just so you don't watch the next 5 minutes of me fighting through this traffic to get back on the other side of the freeway. And we're back. I've got a new destination put in for Barrie, and you can see the lane is ending here. The lane is ending here, and then, okay, no signal, and at the last minute moves over. So, okay, it did finally, you know, move over, but fortunately it wasn't busy because no signal, no nothing, wait until the last minute, which is, again, not how a human would drive, and can be very uncomfortable if it is busy. Okay, once again, we are back heading north. This lane is going to end. There is a car beside me. I'm a little concerned about this, to be honest with you. The guy behind me is, look at this. Look at this. What the hell, right? Like that is not acceptable. And this is, you know, 6 years now since I first had quote unquote enhanced autopilot. And I can tell you that enhanced autopilot back in 2018, I had a lot more confidence in. Like, it really does stupid stuff. Okay, so here you can see it's asking me to change the lane. This lane to the right of me ends, so I'm not getting in that lane. There's no point in getting in that lane. And then here's one of my biggest beef. So I tap to cancel, and you watch, it's going to start getting angrier and angrier as we go along, and it's going to want me to get into this next lane beside me that will be ending very shortly. So there's absolutely no reason why any sane driver who drives this route would be in that lane unless you were going to exit here up at Major Mackenzie Road. Okay, so again, I'm going to say no, I do not want to change lanes. And it's going to get increasingly angry at me. And my point here is that as the human, when you override something like this, it should override. It's like I know better than the computer here, and I've said no, I don't want to be in that lane. It doesn't make any sense because the lane is going to end. And I'm not in the left-hand lane, so I'm not impeding faster traffic. There's absolutely no reason for me to go into this next right-hand lane, and I'm going to just keep tapping it, and it's just going to keep harassing me to make this change. So this is very problematic, right? And you know, the human has spoken here, and no means no. I do not want to go into the lane that's ending. Look, it's still doing it. It's still doing it. You can see the lane ending sign, like right up to the end of the lane. It's telling me to move over. So again, I guess what I'm trying to talk about here in this video is that some very common sense things that used to work prior to vision just seems to be regressing at this point, the self-driving technology. And it's so painful to the point where you just don't even want to use it. at least on my commute. And I'm just showing you a couple of short segments of my commute. Trust me, it's like this like all the time. All the things that I've shown you, the phantom braking, the changing of the speed limit, the wanting to take lanes that are ending, not merging at the last possible moment, no signaling. These things are kind of like the basics. Look, okay, there we go again. It just slammed the brakes on for no reason. Let's give it a little bit of juice here. Okay, so I could keep continuing going on here and you would see the same thing time after time. And I'm surprised you haven't seen it yet. But the other joy is when it is absolutely bone dry, as it is right now, and your wipers come on. And sometimes you can't get them to go off unless you go off of Autopilot, because it's all tied. Like the windshield wipers, you can't use Autopilot without the windshield wipers, or enhanced Autopilot, or FSD, or whatever branding you want to give Tesla's suite of enhanced driving technologies. And I guess that's all I wanted to show you guys today. Let me know in the comments if you're having a different experience than I am. I would love to hear from you. Electric Canuck, over now.